Hey guys, Will here with Off the Line Self-Defense. Thanks for joining me this morning. I'll apologize now for any background noise. It's about 6 o'clock right now. Everybody's waking up, so I'm sure the chickens and the goats are going to start yelling here in a minute because they can hear me outside and I'm not bringing food. I appreciate you guys joining me. Kind of trying to shoot a quick video for you guys this morning, gathering tools. Our church is having a work day this morning. We're building a building, so kind of getting ready to go to that, but I thought I'd get you guys a video out. Had a lot of people asking me kind of where do you start in self-defense? You know, hey, I'm new to this. I don't have training. You know, the world's getting scary. I'm kind of worried about, you know, myself and my family. Where do I start? Situational awareness is where you start. It's not a fun topic. It's not a sexy topic. It's not a topic that sells videos. It should be. Okay. That's what you need to master. Knowing what's going on around you is 90% of the battle. Sorry, I'm going to keep swatting. There's mosquitoes out here this morning. If you can be aware of your surroundings, it'll get you out of 90% of situations. If you can see a problem coming and you can go the other direction, there you go, man. I mean, I can't say that's all you need because it's not. Because if that problem decides that you're not getting away, well, then that's a whole different story and a whole different skill set. But if you can see the issues coming and you can avoid them, that's 90% of the battle right there. So many people walk themselves into a bad situation. We've gotten to a point, and I think technology and the easy life we have here in America has probably played a big part of that. But we've gotten to a point where we just think the world's just puppies and rainbows and it's all good and, you know, there's nothing bad out there. Let me tell you, there's some bad stuff out there and some bad people, and they're not as far away from you as you think. What I'd start with, start paying attention to people, especially in public. I'm not saying you gotta get crazy. I'm not saying you need Jason Bourne, you know, Jack Reacher kind of, well, I can list off every license plate in the parking lot. The guy 4 tables down from me is wearing a blue shirt, black shoes, khaki pants. You don't have to get crazy. But notice things. Start to notice things and start to train your mind. Start to get good at remembering details. Sorry, guys. It's early and I'm trying to wake up. Start getting good at remembering details, and even minor details. I'll tell you this. Trust your gut. That is God-given instinct, and it's there for a reason. There is nothing wrong with profiling. I know we're in 2023, and that's probably not a popular statement, and I don't mean it in any negative way towards any group of people, but if somebody looks sketchy, assume they're sketchy until they prove you otherwise. You know? I mean, you look at the justice system we have in this country now, you know, you're pretty much guilty until proven innocent, so, you know, kind of give that to anybody. If somebody gives you a weird feeling until you can otherwise prove that you're just crazy, assume that. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying live your life like that and base all of your actions and decisions, but if you're about to walk through the parking lot to your car at night, and there's a dude just hanging out by the one light pole in between you and the car and he doesn't look that friendly, rethink your options. You know, I've seen so many people get themselves into bad situations. So that normalcy bias, you know, it's that part of our brain that says, oh, you're crazy, everything's fine, this is normal, this isn't a bad situation, when really it could be. One thing I think it really is, I think we now as people have a problem being rude. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying go around being a jerk, but there's a time and a place where politeness comes out the window quickly. Ladies especially, don't be afraid to offend people. Don't be afraid to be a little rude and be a little direct. Typically, you ladies have a little bit harder of a time than us men. Typically, that's not always the case. If somebody's in your personal space, get them out. You know, I did a seminar not too long ago for a group of real estate agents, which I have several friends who are in that industry, and after talking to them, kind of looking at it, I thought, man, that is actually a dangerous job. You meet strangers in strange places all the time. It's crazy. And unfortunately, bad things happen to those people all the time. And I notice this group of young ladies in the back at one table, and their ears perked up when I started going over that personal space and building, I call it building your bubble. You should have a bubble around you. And, you know, you decide how far it is, whatever you're comfortable with, you know, 10 foot, something, that's your personal space. Nobody's allowed in that. Don't allow anybody in that you don't want. And don't be afraid to say, if somebody's getting too close to you, don't be afraid to say, hey, you need to back up, you're in my space. And then if they have a problem with that, well, then you're in an entirely different category of problem, aren't you? But you make that space and own that space. You know, if you're at the grocery store and you got your kids in the shopping cart and somebody's getting too close to you, you can turn around and say, hey, hey, you need to back up, you're in my space, or you're getting a little too close, I'm not comfortable with you here. And most people will probably be oblivious and they'll say, oh, I'm so sorry, and they'll go on and you won't have any issues. But don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to be direct with people. That's the thing you see all the time. And, I say it to everyone, and I'll probably have to keep saying it as long as I'm doing this. Get off your phone. I know the irony. I'm talking to you through a phone right now. But if you're in public, get off your phone. Okay? If you got to look something up, like I'll give you an example. So I'm at the store. I'm in the store and I get an email. It's a real important email. I need to read it real fast. I'm with my family. We're at Walmart or wherever. My wife knows the drill by this point. We've been married for a while, and she, I've slowly converted her to my way of craziness, as she'd probably call it. We'll go somewhere a little off the beaten path. We'll kind of get stable in a good position, where we're not right in the middle of an aisle. She'll be on watch, and I'll pull up my phone, look at it real quick. Okay, cool. Throw it back in the pocket. We're back to shopping, doing whatever we need to do, getting out of there. Don't be walking through public places with your head glued to your phone, okay? That is the most vulnerable position you can get yourself in public. And let me tell you something. Predators know that, okay? There are 3 kinds of people in this world. They're the sheep, the sheepdog, and the wolf. The sheep just walk around aimlessly. They're just there. They're there to get their food. They're there to get their entertainment. And that's it. That's about all that goes through their little brains, unfortunately. Okay, that is the crowd mentality, and you don't want to be part of that. Okay, then you got the wolf. The wolf is your criminals. The wolf is your predators, your rapists, your kidnappers, your robbers, your muggers. They're not strong people. They don't. Yes, they're the aggressors. Yes, they typically use violence, but they're weak. They're weak men and women. I guess some of them are probably women too, but we typically think of men when we think of those kind of predatory people, but they seek, just like wolves do. They're not going to go challenge the ram. They're not going to challenge the leader of the pack. They're going to go after the weak, the sick, the young. They look for weakness and they thrive off weakness. Okay, if you're walking through a parking lot with your face glued to your screen, their ears perk up. They see an easy target. Oh, I go, that guy's walking right by, didn't even notice me. I could grab his wallet, never even know. That young lady's walking to her car, not paying attention. Now she's fumbling through her pockets, looking for her keys while still on her phone. It's a scary world, people. People get taken all the time. A van or an SUV pulls up, they grab the person, throw them in the back, and you're at the mercy of whatever ungodly situation they have designed for you. 3rd kind of people is a sheepdog. It's kind of corny, it's been a thing in this community for a long time, but that's kind of where I see myself at. I have the skills of the wolf, but I'm not the wolf. I have the skills, I don't have the desires of the wolf. I don't desire to prey on the weak. I don't desire to be the predator. I desire to hunt the predator. That's the sheepdog. They look out for the flock. I'm sorry I'm using really, really corny examples, but it just fits. But if you ever look around in public, and you see somebody scanning. What I mean by scanning is they're just kind of sitting there and they're just slowly kind of looking around and they're kind of seeing who else is there. They got their head up, they got their head on a swivel, they're looking around. 2 types of people do that. Sheepdogs and wolves. Okay? Good guys, bad guys. Those are the only 2 kinds of people who typically scan a room. So if you get good at watching that, you'll see who's who. Because the criminal, if you catch his eye, he's going to look down or look away real fast. The sheepdog, he'll give you a nod and keep on doing what he's doing. So that's a real fun game to play in a public place. Trust me. But I digress.